Amazing, astounding, earth-shattering. The world is in shock. Giga Semi factory is slightly more complete. Yeah, we get a little hyperbolic on the thumbnails sometimes, but it's what we have to do. We're going to talk some more about the recent week of progress at Giga Semi, or Giga iWest, as I am definitely going to call it from now on. Got my buddy Mark here from the TSLA Life, back from captivity. The hostage release negotiation was successful. All demands were met. And unfortunately, that means we got him back just in time for the tariff, but we'll see if we can make his screen 25% smaller. I'm Brian. Welcome to Future Ozza. Oh, yeah. So your space is looking a little better. It is shaping up.
Yep, we're getting there. We're making forward progress.
That is a good direction. You know who else is making forward progress? Giga iWest. There it is. You can see the iWest right there on the roof. It is, looking great. And weirdly, I saw on the video itself, because we're not showing the actual video, he calls it Giga Semi, which I don't know how you get semi from iWest, but
no.
Yeah. But that is something for the world to ponder forevermore. I've given this video a thumbs up. You guys are now required by law, I believe, to give our video, a thumbs up as well. And YouTube has permission to go jump in a lake because Chrome disabled uBlock Origin, the real ad blocker. So now I have to use uBlock Lite. Go ahead and pause this. What we're seeing this week is, some more trenching, nothing too exciting. This is the flag of the United States of America. I'm sure many of you have seen it before. There was a question about some development on the roof, which we will get to in a minute. Maybe some folks out there would be able to answer it. Little access service road here. You can see these big, heavy footings are going quite well. There are a lot of questions about those in the comments. We will get to those. And it was noted that there is backfilling going on up around the stamping area.
Yeah, so that indicates that that particular section is pretty well done.
Yes, and you can see right there the backfill all around it. That's what you wish to see. And over here, there's filling going on the outside edge. It's unclear what's going on in here, if they're filling or if that's just storage for rebar. But, it looks like they're still doing quite a bit more work.
Still a lot of holes in the ground that have not been filled out. That previous shot showed a number of square holes that rebar's in, but they're still have to pour concrete there.
Yes, and these are the footings on which the outside shell structure will be built. And you can see that there are not very many footing holes inside this area. So it may be a pretty large span because they really want it to cover the whole thing. But we'll see. They could also just cover it with a lightweight steel structure like they have in Fremont.
Yep.
Interestingly, they've left a hole here, which I have not seen on other foundations of this type. Maybe it'll be closed. Who knows? Because, yeah, this looks like they just laid steel over the not level dirt. But they are beginning to close off this space.
I believe those are perforations from the wheel on that machine, the roller. That's why it looks like steel, but it's really just perforations in the earth from the roller.
Oh, hey, how about that? You're right. That is, yeah, great. Thank you. Thank you. That's why we make a good team. And that alone, that is the only reason. Yeah. And this would be
Brian did ask me to contribute 25% less. So I'm trying to stay within that window.
Gotta understand. Hey man, whoever negotiated that deal should be fired, I guess. I don't know who negotiated the original one, but we've got, yeah. So it doesn't look like much, but concrete takes time to dry and all that. The structure on the roof we're talking about is this line over here, which I think is just a temporary walkway. That's the liner there. I think it's just a temporary walkway that the workers use so they don't perforate that. Yeah, that looks like a temporary walkway to me.
Yeah.
So they don't damage the roof membrane. One question we've had before, but has come up again is, aren't we concerned about the weight of snow or rain on a roof this large and this flat? Because it is very large and very flat, and the downspouts are not exactly super close to where the the water's got a huge distance to run to get to that downspout.
Yeah.
Are you concerned about the weight of water and rain?
Not really, because we're talking the high desert here. And
Mm-hmm.
typically, they have, of course, records on file for the last 100 years. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't get much precipitation, whether it's snow or rain, in the high desert. So the roof is not going to be used in that way that often.
Correct. We're talking 6 inches a year of rain, maybe, 15 centimeters, not much rain at all. So what we're even in some places that get moderate rainfall, you might still get a storm that comes through and dumps several inches over the course of an hour. That does not happen in this area. So this roof is believed to be of sufficient strength. Um, and yeah, there's some closing thoughts here. And again, this big difference in the grade is why these buildings are separate rather than all lumped together. It is pretty cool to have, bragging rights for the biggest, best building, whatever. But at the same time, it has to be practical. And there is Zanegler himself.
Piloting the drone from the dirt pile.
As he do. As he do. So, oh no, let's see. So last week's video, which had a bunch of questions, was this one. And a reminder, it's free. You can just give it the smack of the thumbie. So let's get into the questions. We've got some good ones. I'm just going to post AGI written jokes as comments. DMV worker to Superman to Clark Kent. Please remove your glasses for the photo. Are you sure? Yes, it's the rules. Flash. Camera melts into slag. I'm just going to write photo unavailable. I mean, it has question marks. Not really a question, but we went off a little on Superman last week. You missed the number of spiders Clark Kent eats during the nights he's not prowling the night with Batman.
That's right.
Yeah.
Keep them spider jokes coming, people.
Batman, of course, one of the more important roles in cricket, I believe. Pretty sure I got that right. Just curious about these warehouse on wheels that are the rage now. How much? So trailers aren't free and time isn't free. How much are they paying to have those trailers to use? Surely Tesla doesn't own all the trailers. They must make some kind of deal to have access to your trailer, whatever trailer that may be. That's a good question. I'll share my thoughts and then ask for yours, Mark. My thought is it's still cheaper than building a warehouse, and the logistics alone is so much better that it's even if the warehouse was free, you'd still rather use the trailers because then you don't have to unload them, put them on a shelf, and then deal with them. They just show up and you use them. Thoughts?
That's certainly a plus. Although, if they're not under one roof, you're having to keep the logistics of where these different parts are in different trailers in different parts of the lot. And it may take a little bit of time to coordinate getting them to a certain production line with other parts to make sure that they're all arriving at the same time or the proper logistic timing. That could be an issue on a warehouse with wheels, but generally, I would agree. It's something that is going to be a cheaper solution in the short term, certainly, but over the long term, I would argue that getting a warehouse actually built might be advantageous as time goes along.
So here's the way it works for those who don't know. If you look at a factory like Shanghai, the entire footprint is production. There's very little storage inside, but all the time there's trailers backed up to the doors all the way around. And they do that because when we need turn signals, a little hood liner, whatever it might be. That trailer is right there. It's not on the other side of the factory. It's right where you need it. All of the trucks are digitally inventoried. If we know what's in a truck, we know where the truck is. So it makes it so that you don't have to have a certain shelf for your mayonnaise. Imagine if you could just always know where everything was in your fridge and how much of it you had at all times. It's that. There was a joke in Rick and Morty when they were putting an artifact into the Indiana Jones style government archives kind of thing, but in space, some advanced civilization. And the guy said, "Where do I put this?" He goes, "Put it anywhere. It doesn't matter. It's all digitally inventoried." He goes, "So I could just dump this right here?" "Yeah, it doesn't matter." "All right." Dumps it right there. Done. Easy. And I would agree with you that over the short term, it's definitely cheaper. Over the long term, maybe not as easy to know. Okay. Where, oh, where is the Tesla transit van, utility truck, ambulance, the Tesla box truck?
This
What's the
keeps
holdup?
coming up week after week, doesn't it?
It does. It's a fair question, and we can't expect everyone to know everything that we've talked about in the past. Where are they? What's the holdup?
The holdup is that Tesla only has so much bandwidth to deal with the new Semi as it rolls out. Yes, there are other things that they could build instead of the Semi tractor trailer, and it could be a box truck, it could be a utility vehicle, it could be an ambulance, but the volume of sales of those type of units does not equal what the Tesla Semi is actually going to be selling. So you wouldn't want to, in a sense, waste your time building a limited amount of vehicles that are, say, a box truck when you could sell 5 times the amount of semi trucks at the same time. So this is low hanging fruit, and Tesla is picking what makes sense logistically and volume wise for them at this time. Later, these other things may come.
Agree completely. The idea that what Tesla does is make a limited number of products and make them extremely well. It is pretty silly that they have an SUV and a sedan and then built an SUV and a sedan, except that they exist in different spaces marginally. Uh, I would love to see them have had pickups and vans and convertibles and coupes and everything from the beginning. But what we would have ended up with is a collection of pretty good cars instead of a smaller number of exceptional cars. And if you look at the people who are making delivery vans, they're not selling big numbers. They're not moving big units. The time is just not quite there yet. Now we've got, of course, more important questions. Superman produces s'mores at scale and at a fraction of the cost. He just does it. But for what national event? Lighting of the national Christmas tree? Daily Planet holiday party? Mark, what is it? Let us know.
I've got no idea what the event would be.
Well, but Doug, I'm sorry, we don't have quality answers for this. We are doing our best, but unlike Superman, our powers are limited. Okay.
Thanks, Doug.
When do you think the stamping pit will be finished?
When will it be finished? I would say that the pit is probably a couple of quarters away.
Yes, I would say 6 months is a very reasonable guess because it is very complicated. It's taking longer than I expected, but I suspect some of that may be weather related. The nicer weather is coming, and then of course there's an upper bound on how much heat there that they can handle. So I think they'll want to have the pit itself done in the next 2 to 3 months, and then the structure around it in the following 3 to 6 months. You can start manufacturing before you have the stamping pit in there. I think that's all quite reasonable. We'll do one more, and maybe we'll come back on more of these when we cover the lithium plant, because we don't have follow-up questions on that one. iWES, incredibly wonderful electric semis. I think I thought it stood for Interstate Wheels for Electrified Shipping. I think that's what it is. Interstate or international, but it is Wheels for Electrified Shipping. Definitely, isn't it?
Something like that.
Pretty sure that's right. We'll come back. More questions. We'll handle those tomorrow. In the meantime, guys, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Head over to Mark's channel, The Tesla Life. Him, Casey, Patrick, every week they are out there fighting the fight, tackling the good stories, the bad stories, the crazy and the silly stories. They got it all. And then some. Too much, some would argue. Maybe tone it down a little, maybe by 25%. My friendly neighbor to the north.
The tariff jokes just keep coming.
We laugh so we don't cry.
There you go.
Guys, subscribe, would you please? It costs you nothing and it helps out quite a bit. And if you can help out even a bit, there are ways to do that in the description below on Patreon, on X as a channel member, as a subscriber, as a channel member on YouTube. All the ways, you know what you're doing. Everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots when I trick Mark into returning for a follow-up.